Okay folks, here's what we're doing, what we're building for our fitting on our turbo to go into our intake pipe. This is going to be actually 2.5 inches. This is going to be 2.5 inches across. The actual size of our turbo, the pipe on it, is 2.60. So in other words, it's going to be 100 thousandths small. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to make it where this actually slides into the turbo, and there's a flange inside the turbo for that. It'll be 100 thousandths deep, and I've got the measurements here on the other side or somewhere. Basically 100 thousandths deep and 2.170 across here. That fits inside. And then of course there'll be a whole board clear through it, and this is 150 thousandths, but it actually tapers a little bit right here, so we may taper it a little bit. That's just where the clamp goes on. I actually measured it with the clamp on it, that way I could get a good measurement and make sure that it's going to tighten down good. And then when I'm all done with this, I'm probably going to go in and cut an O-ring groove up in here. And the reason for that, you know, this is pressure, this is not a suction, and I don't like, you know, two machine fittings going together without having something on it. So I'll probably do I'll do an O-ring or something. We'll figure that out when we get it made, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it out. And like I said, I'm just turning it out of a piece of 2.5 inch solid stock aluminum. And I'm not a machinist. If anybody wants to watch any machinist videos, you know, there's Keith Rucker and Keith Fenner, and there's A-Bomb. There's a bunch of them out there that know what they're doing. I just machine. I've never been in the business of machining or taught, so I just do what I do. But we're going to go ahead and get to turning this out, bore the hole through it, get everything taken care of on it. Alright, show you more. Okay folks, here's my profile. Try to put something a little bit dark behind it there where you can see it, but you know, that's our lip for the flange. This should slide right into where the 100 thousandths deep recess is in the turbo. Now all we're going to do is bore it, and then I've got to figure out what I'm going to do on the on this to hold it, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet. I'll show you more. Okay folks, here's what we've got so far, and fits good. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to run a gasket, just a thin gasket around the outside here. I got it fitting really tight, presses in good, so I think if I run just a thin gasket around it, once I clamp it down good and tight, it should be fine. We just want to make sure it ain't leaking any air. And cut the whole board. I'm going to shorten it up, and then I'm going to, this is just a little tiny bit oversized, so I'm going to put a piece on there where once we clamp it, it can't pull off. And we'll be done with this one. Okay folks, here's our little adapter all finished up. We're ready to make a gasket that fits in here, and then we'll clamp it on there. Now what I did is I left this, I think it's 2.6, and I just went down just a little bit to give me a place when I slide that pipe on and I clamp it, you know, it won't be able to slide off as long as that clamp's tight. But this is a little bit big, just a little bit bigger than the turbo outlet. But it's good to go. We'll get her together and get her on here. Okay folks, I've got the piece made and on there and finished up. Clamp tightened down good. Won't have any problems there. So that's finished. I made a little gasket and put in it, just a little, you know, thin gasket, nothing that nice, but I'm sure it'll hold up just fine. It went on good. Now we're going to work on the exhaust, and so we've got to cut out a piece to go on there, and the outside's got to be the same distance as this, which is 3 inch, and the inside I think I'm going to try to go 2.5. I might have to go 2 1/4, just because you know, welding it onto the flat plate for the clearance for the band clamp. Now what we got to do is cut the circle out, and I think we can cut it out pretty easy on the nibbler. I'll show you how to cut a good, clean, exact circle. Okay folks, here's the old machine I'm going to use to cut out the circle with. And what you do is you drill a hole, you put your plate on here and you actually spin it and it cuts it. And when you end up done, you get a good circle, and then we can readjust and do our inside circle. But let's see if I can fire it up here. I'll show you what it does. Now, I've shown this before on YouTube, but some of you may have missed it. But it basically just cuts out little half moons, and anywhere you move it to is where it goes. And pretty simple. And it's not hard to get a hold of it here. I've got my piece in the way here. This slides in and out so you can get a different radius on your circle. It's just a circle attachment. So we're going to get a piece ready, and then we're going to cut the circle the outside first, and then we'll cut the inside, and our ring that's left over will be the right size. So, all right, let me get set up and I'll show you. Okay, we know that the size of the outside of our flange is 3 and about 1/16. From center to center, we want to, or from center to where we cut, we want to go 1.5 and maybe a 32nd, but just a little tiny bit. But what we'll do is we're going to go to the edge of the cutter back to the center of here. Now this is 1 inch now, so it would be cutting a 2-inch circle. And we'll come out just a little tiny bit. We'll leave it at that. It's just a little bit over our just a little bit over our 1.5 inches, and I mean by about 30 seconds. So we should be fine there. If we cut our circle out, that'll be the OD, and then all we got to do is move it into where we want our ID, which will be 2.5, which will be half that 1.25 inches, and then we'll run it around. All right, show you in a minute. All right, folks, I don't really like the way this is coming out because the light's so bad right there. But I wanted to try to get you set up where you can see it. But what I did is I drilled a 1/4 inch hole here, and these just got a little pin on them, so you don't want to break the pin off. It's not made to plunge a hole; it's just made to cut. So then a quarter inch hole here to spin it. You can see we can spin it right around. But what we'll do is start where that hole's at and just go around and see what we can do. Hopefully you'll be able to see this on camera. We've got to adjust our foot down. It keeps your piece from bouncing up. And then lock it down. Be able to turn it. We'll see what happens. All right, adjust our foot back up. And there's our circle. Now let's measure it and see if it's the right size. Yeah, I just don't see having enough room, for 2.5 and still being able to get a good weld around it and stuff. So I'm gonna go 2 1/4. I don't think when a little force onto that side is going to make that much difference. I mean, I really wanted to, but that's the way it goes. So we're going to take this out, lower our head back down here. so we can remeasure. We're going to go 2 1/4, so 1 1/8 is what we want to center. So loosen our piece back up. Alright. Should put us right close to it. Alright, now we'll need to go drill another hole so we can start this. So what I'm going to do is just bring it down and mark it, and then I can go drill it. Ooh, I don't like that. Now I didn't hear nobody yell to tell me I was doing this wrong, but I was just getting ready to mess it all up. You know, I measured this from there to there, from the edge of that to the center, and what I got to measure is to the inside, because this is an inside hole, from the inside to the center. So we're way too big for the hole and not thick enough. So let me reset it here and I'll turn you back on. Okay, we're reset now and where we need to be. And what I did is I just put it down and then I scratched it around it so I know where I need to put my hole, and I'll offset the hole just a little bit to the inside, and we'll get this ring cut out. Alright, let me go drill some hole. Okay, we got our hole drilled. Put her in there. Check it, make sure it clears alright. Yep. And we're going to adjust our foot down. And turn the machine on. Kicked out of gear there. All right. I messed up a little bit on my hole, but I don't reckon that's going to matter. It's got to be welded there anyway, but you can see, you know, I don't have a lot of room to weld. So. But anyway, this is what we've got. There's all 3 pieces. You can see it's not too hard to do. Works out really well. You end up with a decent circle, and it's not warped, and you know, you don't, very minimal grinding on it. And just to clean it up, be able to weld it. You can see the little ridges on the outside edge. But anyway, that's our exhaust flange. Our pipe will go in the center, and this will butt up to it and go right over top. All right, show you more. Okay, folks, we've got our pipe. It's not quite a 90, almost. Went over to a friend of mine's and bent that up. All the 90s at Advance and AutoZone had the ripples in them, and I really just didn't want that. So our sleeve just about fits on. There's just a little bit of grinding to get it slide down over. But we're going to put it where we want it. We'll weld it from the bottom side all the way around, but we're going to try to leave enough to where our clamp can still grab. And that'll get our exhaust on. I still got to cut it and everything, but we'll get on that. Go ahead and try to knock it out real quick. Okay, folks, here's our down pipe. We got it welded on there, and we just welded all the way around it on the outside, and we left enough of a lip for the V-band clamp to go on. and a little bit more cleaning up, and we'll be ready to put her on there, and we'll have a down pipe anyway. Alright, show you more. Okay, we got our down pipe on, so we're good to go there. It's nice and tight. We can finish up, run it on down and back to the back wherever we're going to go. We may do a stack, we may not, and but we cleared everything we needed to clear, and we're plenty far enough away from our slave cylinder down there, our clutch slave cylinder, to keep from getting it hot. We may come off of maybe one bolt of the slave cylinder at the top and put a bracket on it, and that'll keep any of the vibrations down, and that way we never have to worry about the pipe cracking or anything. But alright, so far so good. We're going to get on the piece for the oil return now. Show you more. Okay folks, we're getting ready to cut out our piece for our flange for our oil return to go on the bottom of the turbo. Just use the gasket to make a tracing of it. As you can see, I use 3/8. When I'm done getting it out, I'll put it on the surface grinder. Got a magnetic chuck, and I'll just grind it just enough to get it good and smooth. I like using thick stuff. You don't have to worry about it warping. And sometimes if you use something thin and you tighten it or over tighten it, it'll warp. So I mean, if you're going to make it, you just well make it out of the the heavier material. That way you don't have to worry about it. It's one less thing. And so we'll get this cut out, and I'll get the holes done, and then we'll surface grind it and have it ready shortly. Now the center hole, I'm just going to drill and pipe tap it, probably 1/2 inch pipe thread. Alright, show you more. Okay folks, here's our piece ready to go for the oil fitting on the bottom of the turbo, and I've got it, take the magnet off here, I've got it done on both sides, just ground it around, get it half decent, and now all I've got to do is drill the holes, and that'll work out just fine. But I know these surfaces, I'm sure you can see it looks like it's discolored here and there, and I guess that's from heat, but this thing feels like a piece of glass. It's so smooth, and I'm so impressed with this old surface grinder. I didn't think I'd use it much, but on stuff like this, it sort of ensures you don't have any leaks on your gaskets, and I like that because I don't like doing things twice. Alright, show you more. Okay folks, I've got this drilled and tapped. This is for the bottom oil return. Just need to deburr around the edges there, but I stuck an old fitting in it, and I'll probably use a 1/2 inch hydraulic hose, but that might not be the fitting I use, but anyway, lines up good, everything will work out just fine. So we can figure out what threads is up in there, and get this thing bolted on and try to get our return line ran. But video is getting kind of long, so we're going to call it quits on this one, and I'll show you more on the next one. Appreciate everybody watching. Bye.